Next up, we have Brian Bartlett, who's going to read two poems, I think.
Coincidentally, the first poem I'm going to read, "The Face of the Lion," concentrates, well, it's a mix of childhood unhappiness and childhood comfort. So it's a nice segue from what we've just heard to this poem, "The Face of the Lion." The moth-eaten lion with shoe-button eyes is lumpy by modern standards, and his mane scarcely restorable. I held him in my arms when I was small. I held him when my parents quarreled, as they often did while I shrank away. My beast has come down the long traverse of such years and travel as have left outworn or lost beds slept in, women loved, hall clocks that struck wrong hours, photographs and years forgotten, notes, lovers' quarrels. Dear God, where go our living hours? Upon what windy ash heaps are they kept? Down what sepulchral chambers must we creep who seek the past? I, who have dug through bones and broken skulls and shards into the farther deeps, rescind such efforts now. I cannot practice the terrible archaeology of the brain, nor plumb one simple childhood thought. I want no light to shine into those depths forever, but the lion sits on the shelf above my desk, and I, nearsighted now, take comfort that he looks forthright and bold as when my hands were small, as when my brain received him living, something kind where little kindness was. The mirror tells me that my hair is gray, but the wild animist within my heart refuses to acknowledge him, a toy given by someone long ago, forgotten. No, no, the lion lives and watches me as I do him. Should I forget the hours in the blizzard dark, the tears spilled silent while I clutched his mane? He is very quiet there upon the shelf, as I am here, but we were silent even then, past words, past time. We waited for the light and fell asleep when no light ever came. I do not delude myself. The lion's face is slowly changing into the face of death, but when I lie down upon my pillow in the final hour, I shall lie quietly and clutch the remnants of his mane. It happens we have known a greater dark together, he and I. I am not terrified if he has come wearing another guise. To him, the watcher, I will trust my sleep, shoe-button eyes, the lion on the shelf. I think that's one of his most beautiful, moving poems. And I think, we so often think of Eiseley as a supreme, superior essayist, but I've been really grateful to be given the incentive in the last week to read his poetry again for the first time in probably 20, 25 years. And I think when I was 20, 25 years younger, maybe it didn't speak to me as resolutely as it does now, because so much of it does have to do with the passing of time and mortality and so on. So the other one I'd like to read, which has more to do with language, but still aging and fatality and mortality, it's called "The Hand Axe." I picked it out of a gravel bed far up in a Badland canyon many years ago. It is with me still, a great stone pebble pounded into a point that resembles the tools of the earlier ice, the base harsh and unworked for the powerful hand that once held it. Professionals from Africa have fondled it and said to me, "You picked it up, of course, somewhere near the rift or on the high veldt." But no, it was some lost horizon, early or late in the Americas. When I found it, the stone had been tumbled by freshets too far to trace, rolled and pounded onward in the traverse of years. Like words, I thought, like our words tumbling down the centuries, over the rough tongues of men, through torrents murky or flashing a white water, obscene or beautiful, but lying lost in the end, wherever it is, that words like stones stop rolling and die, knocked out of shape perhaps, on the coarse gravel of another tongue, or taking some other meaning not given to stones before they die. Barbara Alexis, someone called it in another country, but this flint axe will not alter form like the old affectionate word for elf child, changeling, transformed slowly to oaf in a bleaker time. The axe may have been out of fashion 100 millennia, but you can still recognize its true purpose. I wish it were possible to fix a word between us which would last in the torrent longer than slivers of home, and that someone picking it up wherever it is that words finally are tossed on the stream banks would say, that was once used in the old high senses of love, and out of use now perhaps, like a good word of proud meaning. It has come a long way down, been battered, but lasted, is recognizable. Take it home. Say it just once. It has a good sound still, like the feel of the axe now held in my hand.
Well, thank you, Brian. Yeah, I've done a few academic articles on Eiseley's poetry, trying to get people to pay more attention to it. There's a whole area of study now called eco-poetics, looking at the environment's portrayal in poetry, and the people doing that mainly have not been looking at Eiseley, and I've been trying to.
Is it easy to find your pieces?
um yeah, well, one of
Yeah.
them is in the book that's Susan Marr and I co-edited, called Artifacts and Illuminations, but also on my website I've got
Okay, I'll
links
go
to
there.
some of
Yeah.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I think he's underappreciated as a poet.